To the podcast, hablemos de lo nuevo. For the G's, by the G's, que pasa en el terreno. Vienen jugadores y se van, traiga lo nuevo. A huevo. Doesn't matter where you from. Salvador, Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua. Todo mi latino, come and listen for an hour. TikTok, que traemos lo que quiere. Todo lo que pasa dentro y fuera de las redes. Really? You don't know what it is. Reportamos con la lupa what we see at the digs. En las buenas y en las malas yo diré la verdad. Si cometen un error o tienen habilidad, la calidad del rival cuando viene a jugar. Facts. Yo no me muerdo la lengua. Got love for the crest in the city I came from. Los campeones de campeones y con copas mi race. No empezamos el programa, soy la voz de LA One. Soy la voz de LA One. Love. Yeah.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans out there, wherever you may be in the world. And I know you're feeling good because the Galaxy is in first place. Today, we're going to be reacting to the LA Galaxy's feisty and fiscal 2-1 home win over Austin FC, a win that leaves them just 1 point away from winning the West and undefeated at home on the season. We'll give our thoughts on the playoff-like conditions, the Digs becoming a fortress again, and the Galaxy knowing the job is not done. Before we go any further, let me introduce myself. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rob Halon. You can always find my written work at Extra Time Talk, and you can always find me online at El Escudero, the LA. And of course, with me as always is my co-host, the one and only ride or die G and homie, El Yerno Guapo Gitano Perdido, Ananda Kirana. And Papa, hey man, this is becoming nice because it's becoming usual to come back and say, how do you feel about that win? So, how do you feel about that win?
Man, I mean, nothing else left to say other than just great. Excited about this team. But Papa, that game was intense, man. A little too intense for my liking, or maybe not, which we'll talk about later in the show as one of the talking points. Right there. But that was an intense, fiery. I mean, if that was a preview of what the playoffs are going to be like, sign me up. Let me just I need to go buy my playoff tickets anyways. I need to get that all locked in. Sign me up because that is the type of intensity. That is the type of those are the type of games that I want to see this team sort of earn and win, right? And I'm glad we went through this again. We're going to talk about it later in one of the talking points. But yeah, dude, that's my one-word reaction, Papa. Intense. Like, it was so intense. It was edge of your seat stuff. For 90 minutes, by the way, for better or worse, right? Edge of your seat in the good and the bad and the ugly. In fact, it got to that ugly state towards the latter parts of the game. But, oh man, just good to get out of there. Fairly unscathed. A not easy 2-1 victory, but I think it was a much-needed victory that we need. But, yeah, man, intense game. And chat, go ahead and, like I said, I put it up on the screen there. Go ahead and flash your one-word match reactions in the chat. But yeah, man, intense, intensidad a full.
Well, I'll tell you mine in a moment, but before we go any further, as usual, I'd like to say hello to the homies in chat. Thank you so much for joining us, as usual. Man, we have this back catalog. We invite you to check it out. It's here on our YouTube page. And if you're here and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. It helps out this humble little pod. If you want to help out in other ways, you guys can go ahead and hit us up on that buymeacoffee.com/at La Cuna Galaxiana. It's fun to bring on these guests, and it's fun to do all these amazing things for you guys, and we thank you guys every day for giving us a shot and letting us do it. Raul G says, yo, shout out to El Arquitecto with that banger at the start of the show. Raul G, keep it locked. We're gonna have an announcement on Arquitecto before this show is over. So just we'll slide it down here in a little bit. It was wonderful to meet and everybody at the digs. the other day, man. But anyway, Ananda, you got have some housekeeping?
Yeah, you're gonna give us your one-word match reaction first, Papa, or you want me to do the housekeeping? I'll come back to you.
Yeah. Come back.
Okay. I'm gonna let you marinate on it a little bit, just in case you want to change your mind.
Well, I want some people to drop theirs in there as well.
All right, guys. You heard the man.
I want some folk to. I want to feel what you're feeling right now. You know, let me feel those feels. But anyway,
all feelings less facts. All feelings less facts today. Is it the vibe show?
No, half and half. You know me.
Yeah.
But,
it's got to be half and half for sure. Pero Papa, como siempre. Well, first of all, before that. Got to do the housekeeping, right? So you guys can always follow me, block me, or stalk me at Cuna Galaxiana. Both of our tags are right there on the screen for all you video watchers out there. And of course, as Rob said before, we thank you for coming back to chat. And if you're listening to this for the first time, well, welcome. And we hope you enjoy this little humble pod talking about this first place team. And like Rob said, man, it's exciting to talk about this team. Very, very different to the blast that we had last year on talking about, commiserations and such. But of course, if you do like what you're listening to and you want to give us a shot, give us a subscribe, guys. Give us a shot and hit that subscribe button. And as someone already said in chat, our VP of likes is out there. So today that is Crespo. He says, smash that like button, nerds. Go ahead and smash that like button. Caress that like button. Press it. Hit it. Whatever you want to do with it. Just hit it up, guys, and that's going to be one of the best ways you're going to support the show. And, of course, as Robert said before, you can always donate to this little humble pod to our horchata fund at buymecoffee.com/La Cuna Galaxiana. Of course, Robert has his strawberry horchata on lock, and I go with the regular. I haven't upgraded yet to the strawberry. I got to get on it, but I'm lagging super hard, just like
it's actually mango nectar today.
What? Get out of here. What the heck, man? Okay, I got to get up on these flavors, man. This is ridiculous now. I'm way behind.
Mango nectar. You heard of them kerns, bro? Come on.
Oh my god. Actually, it's funny. Gcam said, "Yo, is that mango horchata?" There you go.
But that's a great idea. We should definitely do that. Big Mo, what up? Thank you for saying what's up.
Yeah. And of course, Robert, before I get back to you on your one-word match reaction, Papa, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes, o noches, y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana. I know we haven't even got to shout-outs yet, but I do want to shout out Alvaro, and of course, all the people that we met yesterday. And that just reminded me, Alvaro, like when we shook hands and said what up to each other, he's like, wait, so what was that again? Buenos días, tardes, o noches. Like, ese. Nice. So, yeah, love that. But, all right, Papa. One-word match reaction. Hit it.
Oh, real quick. ECG says, have you heard about the Argentinian from Boca who might go to the Galaxy? We'll get to Changuito in a little bit. Anyway, so feisty is mine. It was feisty, man. It was heated. And it didn't have to really be as heated as it was if Ted Ungo had done a better job at keeping this game under wraps. But yeah,
we'll get to him too.
All told, it was feisty and it shouldn't have been, but it was the playoffs come early. I mean, Galaxy fans wanted the playoffs. I mean, this is the type of stuff you'll see in the playoffs. So anyway, but yeah, we'll break down the game here in a little bit for you.
Got a couple reactions in chat though, for sure.
Hit him.
Yeah. So one and only Rocio says fire. Gary Cameron says chaotic. Crespo says heated. So they're right behind you, man. Let's see what else. Yeah, I mean,
se puso así como like se van armando los chingadazos.
Yeah. Well, I saw too, like some fans react that, hey, Austin's on our list now, man. Like it's getting heated now. We'll see them next season, and I think that first game there's gonna be some bad blood coming into that game, So it might linger on to next season. We'll see. And of course, they won't have the same coach next season, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Galaxy getting coaches fired. I wonder how Diego felt about it all, man. He was like, "Those are my friends fighting my new friends, and I don't like it." But but
he's a pro. He's a pros pro.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely professional. But yeah, getting into shout outs, Ananda. I woke up, man, to terrible news coming out of Ecuador. Yeah, there's Ecuadorian soccer is in mourning because a couple of players are dead due to a car crash. The driver was Marco Angulo, who is owned by Liga de Quito, and also I don't know if he currently is loaned out or plays for FC Cincinnati, but they put out a statement as well. But may their memory be a blessing. Roberto Cabezas and Victor Nazareno Charcopa. One was from Independiente de Valle, one was from Liga de Quito, and they both died in this crash. Of course, my family's Ecuadorian, and the freeway that they actually passed on and had the accident on, baby girl, my wife's family lives on the way there, so it's a freeway, it's a passageway that we've driven on a bunch of times. It's not like crazy, it's not crazy dangerous, but what happened here is that they were going at high speed. It was really, really early in the morning at 4:30 in the morning. They were celebrating Roberto Cabezas' birthday. He was turning 22. And Angulo lost control, going really fast. They were drinking. They found Coronas in the car. Just unfortunately, I mean, they just made bad decisions, man. And unfortunately, their families are grieving. Ecuadorian football is grieving. And, I'm just, it puts my heart heavy, and I just wish that they had made better decisions is really what I gotta say. But yeah, paz en su tumba, and may their memories be blessings to their entire families. We're waiting to hear on Angulo himself. Last I heard, he was in intensive care. Doctors are not too optimistic about his outlook. I'm not sure that we'll bring this one back up here on this pod, that being that it's not Galaxy specific, but again, bad decisions, but hopefully he gets better. And to all the families, I hope that they find peace at this time. Yeah, that's what I got to say about that, Ananda. I feel like Forrest Gump saying that. That's all I got to say about that. But I mean, really, there's nothing else you got to say about this kind of situation. I mean, young people lost their lives, and their families are going to be missing them. So, but moving on, I do got to say thank you to my co-host, because he is the fine fellow who hooked me up with the hat that I'm currently wearing. Shout out to FU as well, and Big Frank over there, who's doing big things. We see you out there. I mean, the co-host Ananda Kariana hooked it up with these hats, and Frank hooked it up with these hats. Of course, if you guys don't know about FU, then these are just a couple of the offerings. I can't wait to wear that red one, Ananda, but I'm saving that one for when I actually get the retrograde kit. First time when I get the retrograde kit, I'm gonna rock that with this hat. So anyway, I'm gonna save that one. That one's gonna be in my reserve one. So Ananda, we have among these shout out and announcements, we have a rather big one, at least for us. GCam says link. I failed you. I don't have it. But
I will find it, GCam, and I'll put it in the chat. How about that? I'll find it for you.
Yeah. I mean, Ananda's awesome that way. I was gonna be like, just Google it, FHueUSA, and you find it. But Ananda's gonna hook it up. But
yeah. And by the way, guys, sorry, real quick, I did have a really good conversation with Frank as well pre-match. As we were doing the exchange, and I was buying hats, etc. He is working on new stuff, guys. So right now, the website there are a few things on there, but he is working on a new collection. I mean, he's been hard at work, man. So shout out to Frank. Shout out to all you guys at FU. And yeah, Godspeed. And there is the link, guys. So I just dropped it in the chat. So have at it. Have fun.
Look at that.
Hashtag Rich Galaxy fans.
ask and you shall receive. Rich Galaxy fans, now that we have your attention, with some fresh threads, we have an announcement among announcements, right? Cuna Galaxiana will very soon be part of the Goals TV network. So Goals TV is kind of like just like another platform for you guys to catch the show. There's a bunch of different podcasts from a bunch of different teams there. So if you want to know what's going on with Austin, the boys from We Are Austin TV are there. You can check them out. And you know, you guys can hate watch the Austin players and what they're up to.
Our very own Mo Football's on there as well, who's in the chat. So yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of really good content creator guys all over MLS. So a great platform to basically catch up on all things MLS. I think they do some stuff with La Liga, even Premier League. So yeah, shout out to that. But we will soon be on there, just working on the final things, and you'll be able to catch us on Goals TV, and hopefully we'll be collaborators on other shows as well that this man produces. And yeah, go ahead, Rob. I'll bring it back to you there.
Well, no, I mean, when we spoke to Jose, what we dug about him, man, is that he's in it to grow the game, and you know we're in it to grow the game and grow this Galaxy community, and I mean, but Jose's like, you know, thinking about it league wide, and we're kind of honored to be a part of that, and you know, to contribute to the growth of the game, and you know, just the overall exposure that's going to happen, because it's going to explode here in Ananda. I mean, I mean, the Club World Cup, the World Cup. I mean, just two huge tournaments right off the bat in the next couple of years. But yeah, we're gonna have Jose on to tell you a little bit more about Goals TV and you know, this collab on Thursday, October 10th. So watch out for that show on October 10th. And we did tell you we were going to let you know a little bit about Arquitecto Verbal. We will have Arquitecto Verbal with us as well to debut a special playoff version of the La Cuna Galaxiana theme music, intro music. So keep it locked here on Thursday. We're going to have Jose. We're going to have Arquitecto on. We're going to be debuting music. So anyway, we'll see you guys on Thursday.
Should be a fiesta, man. Should be a fun one.
Yeah, man. But yeah, like I was saying, Jose is, you know, he said something to me that I thought it was really funny. He says, I'm on a mission to make soccer cool in the United States. I really dig that. A lot of people think it's cool already, but I mean, definitely more can. So much so right now that MLS has set a new regular season record of over 11 million fans this year, surpassing last year where it was 10.9. And this milestone comes with still a match day to play, 16 matches to be exact. So MLS is going to smash their attendance record. And someone did drop in the chat about the Galaxy attendance record. They smashed it as well. We'll go ahead and give you specific figures on that here in a moment. Ananda, do you remember earlier in the year when we went to the CVI? We got to meet a lot of lovely people, courtesy of El Primo Matthew from Comets. I met two people there that were like, hey, we're going to San Jose. Do you just want to hop in the car with us? And these were complete strangers. They took me into the car. We had a wonderful trip up and a wonderful trip back. And, you know, I made lifelong friends. This couple, Edwin and Astrid, they met at a Galaxy game. So these are G's loving G's, and I love to see that. And another thing that I love to see is when these G's fall in love and are about to get married, because Edwin asked Astrid to marry him at the game on Saturday, and of course she said yes. So congratulations to those two lovebirds.
Viva
l'amore. Oh man, I love it. And it's great because I always tell you about, like, I want to do the story about, like, G's.
Yeah, man, you got a lot. I mean, you had these guys, you have Leo. We've had a few this year, man. Like, get on it.
Yeah.
Get on it.
Yeah, I mean, and this is just like more evidence. Like, hey, I gotta do that story. Awesome. And congratulations to them and their new family. Yeah, felicidades. I can't wait to see you guys and give you some love in person. Felicidades para los dos. Guys, giving you your VCFC update. They did lose their final match of the season to Real Monarchs in PKs after drawing 1-1 at the end of regulation. Goalkeeper Brady Scott put in a man of the match performance with 10 saves, but unfortunately he couldn't keep the Monarchs out in PKs. Now they finished the season 6th in the Western Conference on 43 points, and they are 6th in the playoff seeding here in the Western Conference. Ananda, you're going to have to take over on the way this pick your opponent thing works, because I know they did this last year, but I wasn't really hip to it, and I don't want to like fake the funk for the people and be like, this is what it is, when I have absolutely no clue how this works. So go ahead and educate me, please.
Well, that makes two numbskulls talking about stuff that they don't really know about, because I honestly, when I read this, I was like, what the heck? So guys, let's learn this together, because this is all going to be a mini class tutorial session on how MLS Next Pro playoff actually works. So apparently tomorrow on Tuesday, October 8th, there is going to be a actual show. I think this is the first time they're actually doing it, Rob. It's there. The link
Max
on the
Bricos
bottom
is hosting it.
MLXnextPro.com, X or Instagram. You can watch it there. So the Eastern Conference will do theirs at 2 and Western Conference will do theirs at 3. And these are the rules, guys. I just kind of copied and pasted. So let's all learn this together. So it looks like what happens is,
you know, I can like barely read. So go ahead and tell it to me like
is that ESL? Is it that ESL thing? The English is like,
no, bro. you know I learned to read when I was like 11, bro. Come on. Anyway, give it to me like I'm 2.
Well, very simply put, so it is what it sounds like, right? It's the pick'em. So the conference quarterfinals, which is the first set of matches that'll happen on the 18th through the 20th of October, so about a week or so from now. The number 1 and 3 seeds in each conference will host and select their opponents from the number 5 through 8 seeds. So in this case, for example, VCFC will get selected by the number 1 or 3 seeds potentially, and the number 4 seed will host the last remaining club on the table. So let's say the VCFC does not get selected in that for 1, 2, 3, the number 4 will then host the remaining club on the table. If that's so, VCFC. The rest is kind of.
I hope this exam is open book, bro.
I'm not even gonna go through the rest because it follows a very similar trend. But it's a very it's interesting because I was thinking about this this can totally backfire on you, right? It's like karma. It's like
it happened last year. I remember.
And then if you lose, that's not a good look on you. So, anyways, guys, just a little we're all learning this together. It's a very, very interesting seeding. So we'll see in terms of VCFC, their fate will be decided not by them, but by someone else. Someone will pick them, and that will be their opponent. And they will be playing on the 18th or the 20th, or between the 18th and the 20th.
Go back to the last slide. One more.
Okay. Yeah.
So either North Texas, St. Louis City, or the town will pick between
5 and 8,
right? 5, 6, 7, which is
5, 6, 7, 8, right? And then the last team, whoever does not get picked, they automatically go to the Tacoma Defiance.
Right. Huh. Okay. Cool. So VCFC potentially playing either North Texas, St. Louis City, or the town in this first run.
Yeah, or Tacoma.
Or Tacoma.
Yeah, it's the same structure. It's just instead of actual 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, blah blah. They actually pick, which is really interesting. Anyways, good luck to VCFC because that does my head in. We hope this test is open book, and it clearly wasn't. So there you go. You've confused all of us.
And we complain about the MLS, the first league, the MLS playoff format. But then, you have stuff like this and you're just like, I'm kind of glad that it is the way it is. Maybe they did it that way. So we're just happy that it is the way it is, when we see it in relation to it. But anyway, moving right along, some Galaxy news here for you. Dejan has been called up by Serbia. The chess master has been called up in recognition for his fine performances. He will now be playing and joining up with Serbia for the League of Nations matches against Switzerland and Spain, October 12th and 15th. Good luck to Dejan. Please do not get injured. Please stay safe. Wrap this man in bubble wrap.
Cotton wool and stick him on the windowsill. There you go. Yep.
Don't let anything happen to him. All right. I've said it, but have good matches for sure. Galaxy are now officially qualified for the Concacaf Champions Cup. We had been talking about this one for about the last week, about the last couple of shows, how it was all but decided, but it hadn't been officially stated. We tried to get official confirmation. It didn't happen. But now we know the Galaxy has qualified for the 2025 Concacaf Champions Cup. Ananda, where are you looking forward to traveling to in the Champions Cup for these away matches?
Oh man, I haven't even thought about it. But
bro, you better pack your bags. We're going to Costa Rica. We're going to Guatemala.
What?
We're going to Mexico, bro. Come on.
That would be crazy. Yeah, I need to see all the teams that are in it too, because I'm going to see the list of possibilities. But take me to a nice tropical place. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's been 8 long years since the Galaxy have graced the Champions Cup, and I'm excited to see what they can do. And now is where they can test themselves against international competition and see if they can, if they're really up to the challenge, right?
Hey,
Marvin says, "Ooh, get it."
I was gonna say, Marvin, don't provoke us, man. We might have to do a live podcast direct from Costa Rica. You know what I mean? So yeah. And by the way, shout out to Eli, who loves your Joe Totino picture in the background, the angel on your shoulder.
Thanks. Yeah. We were lucky enough to have that guy on the show, and it was. I'll say it. Do meet your heroes. They're lying to you when people say don't meet your heroes or disappoint you. No, they're lying to you. Every hero that I've met, whether it's El Tanque or Joe, they've always been lovely people. So shout out to them. Hope they're having lovely nights. We told you guys we were talking about Changuito. We told you guys we were talking about the transfer rumor. Well, paso filtrado. Shout out Monica Delgado. Friend of the show. She's been on before. She and her outfit report that the Galaxy are after Ezequiel Changuito Ceballos, the 22-year-old winger from Boca Juniors, the Argentina. They report that the Galaxy are looking for reinforcements for next year's Champions League campaign that is sure to stretch the team thin and test its depth. A little bit more on Changuito. In 2024, he's played in 10 matches, no goals, no assists in those 10 matches. In 2023, however, played in 14, 2 goals and 4 assists. He's really highly rated in Argentina, Ananda. I mean, he was recently injured, and it became like a thing for Boca Juniors fans. Like, how long is he going to be injured? How long is he going to be out? So, the numbers here for 2024 don't look that great for him. But this is a player right here, man. He's, again, very highly rated in this setup for Boca Juniors. The question is, how much is this going to run? He's very highly rated. Like I said, he's 22. He has a career ahead of him. So I don't know. I mean, Gabriel Peck cost 10. Changuito maybe in the same ballpark. I'm not sure, but we already saw that Will Kuntz and his team hit big on Gabriel Pecky. So I mean, he done miracles on the Galaxy. So Nanda, what do you think about this one? What do you think about the fact that they're already looking at players?
Yeah, that's the part. Again, I don't know anything about this player, so I'm not going to speak to that. But I am going to speak to the fact that Will Kuntz and his team are actively looking. And, we've said this a million times over, but just the proactiveness, the level of proactiveness and foresight that this front office has is, I mean, it's got to be commended. We've commended it over and over on the show. I'm not surprised that they're already looking at players. And, it's one of those things where we can just debate and discuss, but whatever the outcome is, I'll be good with it. I like, even if I've never heard of the player, I'm always going to be confident in their picks because I know that Will Kuntz.
Will Scoot.
Will
Yes.
Scoot. I was gonna say
Yes.
scouts. I was gonna say his scouts, but yeah, Will Scoot. Will Kuntz, Will Scoops, right? There's Tommy Scoops and there's Will Scoops. He obviously does a great job in his team in scouting, and he knows these players inside and out. And on top of that, we know we're gonna get high character guys. Robert, remember, let's not forget that. That's a big thing for them. So yeah, I trust this front office, man. No worries.
Yeah, they're always talking about they want good footballers and they want good men as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and yeah, no problems with either of the DPs. I mean, whereas your ex-DP now has an OnlyFans, but less said about that, the better. MLS Year-End Awards were announced today, the nominees anyway. Winners will be voted on by media, club technical staff, and active MLS players. They each get a third of the vote, and that voting ends on Monday, October 21st. The Galaxy were pretty well represented. Ricky Puig was nominated for Most Valuable Player, Greg Vanney for Coach of the Year, Jalen Neal for the Drive Progress Impact Award. JP and Gabriel Pecci were nominated for Newcomer of the Year, Maya Yoshida and Mickey Yamane for Defender of the Year, and John McCarthy for Goalkeeper of the Year. Ananda, I think the big snub for me here is Gabriel Pecci for MVP, who, if you're just looking purely on numbers, he's sixth in MLS with 27 goal contributions. And I absolutely, I'm going to preface what I'm going to say next with, I absolutely think that Ricky should have been nominated as well, which he was. But he only has 22. He's nominated. Gabriel Pecci is not. Find me the rationale for that. I don't know what it is. But anyway, what do you think of these nominations here?
Yeah, I think well deserved on all fronts. And Rob, this just goes to show the amazing season that this team's had, right? And
There's no one last year for the Galaxy on this.
Well, exactly. And we're strong all across the board. Look, at the end of the day, some of this is a popularity contest, right? So whoever wins or not, it is what it is. I mean, for example, I'd rather Ricky be the MVP of MLS Cup than the MVP of the regular season, because that's going to mean a lot more, right? That's going to mean that we've won our 6 chips. So, but I will say though, like just looking at this, tweet that you put out there, that just at first glance just makes me happy, because that is a testament to the team effort and how good this team has been this year. So yeah, just hats off. And what que será será, right? What will be. And I would, by the way, just for the story arc from a pure narrative perspective, I would love Greg to win that Coach of the Year, man. I think he's more than deserving of it. And especially, you've obviously told everyone on this pod, but even to me sort of offline, just the disdain and the faces that Vanney, all the pressure that he was under last year, right? He did not enjoy himself last year, and what a good narrative that would be for him to bounce back and win Coach of the Year next year. That would be amazing. So yeah, hats off to the Galaxy, man. Great team effort.
Yeah, man, you hit it. I mean, you could tell that Greg was hurt last year through his inability to make this team perform the way he wanted to perform through injury, through everything else that was happening around the team. But like you said, what a narrative, what a way to come back. I mean, I've always said it. I've been saying it. Give the man his flowers. I don't understand how people yet still can be like, I don't like him. Get rid of him. It's not him. It's Will Kuntz. But to each their own, their opinion, right? But I think that if you're really looking at it, he deserves this Coach of the Year nomination. And like you were saying a moment ago about Changuito, you can rest assured that that's going to be like a good person, like a good man. More than any other of these awards up there. Again, we're proud of Jalen Neal for that Drive Progress Impact Award. He's always working to better his community, and always working to make sure that people see him out in the community doing that work. So, and leading by example. So love it. Anthony Martinez says, Vanney in and out like this burger I'm having. Yeah. And that's fair. People are gonna love him some weeks when he wins, and when he's not winning, I mean, it's a lot harder to be upset with him. But Yeah, these are the awards, Ananda. Good luck to the Galaxy nominees, and hopefully they pick up some of these awards. And then to finish up with award season, Mickey Yamane picked up the Lars Player of the Year award. Congratulations to Mickey Yamane. I personally would be happier with this one than the Defender of the Year because your home fans are getting behind you. But yeah, congratulations to Mickey. Before the match, Ananda, let's get into match time. There was this palpable sense of excitement. We pulled up, and you could just feel the energy cracking in the air. What did you see as you were walking in? Because we got to a certain point together, and then we kind of split paths. So what did you see on your way in?
Yeah, I mean, we were around the tailgate areas, and of course, it's always popping there. But just a sense of anticipation. Again, I think at that point, obviously there was a Dodgers game going on too, so there were screens everywhere, and everyone was having a good time. I think at that point we had already knew the LAFC score, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But there was still a sense of anticipation, right? Like it was our last home game. I think it was people were coming there to celebrate this team, and man, walking through the turnstiles. Probably walked in there maybe 20 minutes or so before game time, Rob, before kickoff. Man, there was a lot of people just in the concourse, people already in their seats. Of course, the people in the supporter sections. Homie. Yeah, the berm, people in the supporter sections were already there, like cheering and being loud. And yeah, I mean, it was just, I think people were, again, I could be wrong, but the sense that I was getting was just people were there now to celebrate this team and also just we're there now to watch good soccer, man. Like this is a good team, and we're actually enjoying watching this team play again, right? Through the ups and the downs, and that was the feeling that I was getting. And definitely within that 90 minutes, you could feel it in the crowd, like so much passion, like just so much energy, and of course, what was going on in the pitch fed into that, obviously, right? But now, even pre-match, man. I don't know about how you and your colleagues were in the press corps in the press box, but that's how it felt to me down in the concourses.
Yeah, no, I mean, as I was walking in, I said, man, this place is rocking. I mean, I walked for a moment along V Block, and I said, hey, this is already full. It's not usual that it's already full. But really quick before I go any further, Chad had shown Mickey some love, and I wanna make sure that we know that chat knows that we see them on this one. So Eli says, well deserved, Mickey. Rauji says, Mickey El Goat. And then Anthony Martinez says Mickey is like in and out, consistent, and you know what you're going to get.
I like it.
I love it. It's absolutely true, man. But yeah, fans were going nutty. I loved it. I got up to the press box and made pleasantries and then got settled in, and I looked up from my computer after a steady round of just being down there for a moment, and just like typing up stuff and getting stuff ready, and I looked up and I couldn't see anybody on the pitch, and I was like, what the hell just happened? Like there was so much smoke that I couldn't see anything. And then of course, Galaxy fans, if you were there, there was a 3-minute smoke delay, which I'd never seen before. So anyway, that happened, but even before that, shout out to Mariachi Los Toros, who played an amazing version of the Star Spangled Banner, the national anthem. So shout out to them. And I was looking them up a little bit earlier, Ananda, and apparently they've done the Kings game as well. So hopefully our paths cross with them again at some point. They did fantastic. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, this was the lead up to the match. Of course, Ananda, you mentioned by this point we knew what had happened in the LAFC versus SKC game. That was that womp womp. Galaxy, of course, were hoping for LAFC to drop points, tie or lose. They did not. They came out 3-0 winners over SKC in SKC. I really thought they'd put up more of a fight, but they did not. So it looks like Vancouver, it's up to you. take some points off of LAFC. But anyway, yeah, Galaxy already knew what they had to do coming into this match, and they knew even before that, which was take care of business, and they did. Ananda, let's start the feisty, right? Let's start the physical rough and tumble match. And in the final home game this year at the Digs, the Galaxy weathered a physical match in front of a sellout crowd to beat Austin FC 2-1, and they did it on Fan Appreciation Day, winning for the first time since 2017. They led 1-0 at halftime thanks to Gabriel Peck's fourth consecutive game running where he scored a goal. He went on a bunch of amazing runs in the first half. He finally got one of those winding runs to pay off, and his low shot rifled past Brad Stuver. Credit goes out to Ricky Puig for the cross-field ball with that one. Peck's opening goal in his fourth straight game brings him to 15 goals for the year. It's 5 goals in the last 6 matches. Of course, it wouldn't be a Galaxy game without it being a little bit nervy, even before it got physical. So against the run of play, Austin got one back through Sebastian Driussi to tie the scores early in the second half. And then, of course, Puig pops up again to feed Dejan Joveljic, and Joveljic puts the Galaxy ahead and gets the game winner with a left-footed strike in the 76th minute for the Prince who was promised. Yeah, 4 pistoleros. And you got a great video of that, by the way. Los Pistoleros did their thing. They hooked up, and they bring the Galaxy the win. It was enough to see them secure 3 points and stay atop the Western Conference standings with 1 match remaining. With Dejan and Pecky's goals, the Galaxy now have 2 players that have scored 15 goals each during the season. This is for the first time since 2014. And we said it in the last pod, Dejan loves to score and hurt Austin, and he did it again. He's now recorded 4 goals and 3 assists in 6 matches against Austin. Ricky Puig, we called him out as well. He does great against Austin in 4 career starts against them. Has 5 goal contributions. About the only letdown here for the Galaxy was Joseph Paintsill, and it's kind of 2-prong. He missed a couple of really good chances in the first half, and then towards the end of the match, he went off hurt. Was helped off the field. We did ask Greg about it in the post-match presser. As of that moment, he hadn't heard yet from the doctors. He hadn't spoken to doctors yet to find out the severity of that injury. Hopefully, at the next media availability, we'll get a little bit more context, and we'll be able to tell you guys a little bit more. 2 weeks off will help, right. But hopefully it's not a big long-term injury. I'm just worried about the fact that he came off holding the hamstring. I don't like that. No me gusta para nada.
Yeah, it was hard. I was right there when he got sort of. But the good thing was he was able to walk off in his own power, Rob, it looks like, but he was limping. I couldn't tell if it was a hamstring or a knee. I thought it was maybe a knee. But again, the 2 weeks I think is a godsend. And remember, Rob, even if let's say JP can't play the next game, we don't have to play that play-in game, right, or whatever. And there's another week. Right. Off, so there is time for JP to recover. Just fingers crossed on that one, man. But what?
I mean, if he doesn't play against Houston, he's basically got till the weekend of the 26th, 27th to just kind of rest up.
And we've got Dieguito, a more than capable servant, on that left wing. So yeah.
Well, Vanny might have to reshuffle his lineup for the next match, but let's talk about the lineup for this match. What if anything surprised you about this one?
Yeah, I think the big one is we went back to the 2023 starting midfield, Rob, of Gaston Brugman, Mark Delgado, and Ricky Puig. Remember these guys last year? That was pretty much your midfield, right? And it was always that because we didn't have any other options off the bench. Cerrillo came in midway through the season, so that was a little bit of a surprise for me. And then, of course, maybe not so much as a surprise now. It looks like our center back partnership is fixed, Robert, coming into this playoff stretch. That would be Emilio Garces starting next to Mayoshida. The rest of the lineup picked itself. We did see Julian Aude again on the bench. So again, but John Nelson, who's I've heard the NAG boys call him John the Rock Nelson, because man, he has been a rock on that left hand side. Again, that so those wing backs, or sorry, those fullbacks stayed intact. But yeah, I think that midfield, man, that was the only surprise for me. Probably a planned rotation, I would imagine, since Cedi has been playing a lot of minutes recently.
You know, we always talk about mentality on this pod, and John Nelson, I love the mentality, baby, coming out there, and we'll get into it. But
yeah,
all I gotta say is the job's not done, and he knows it. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right on. I think this center back pairing is set for the moment. I think that Greg's seen what this center back pairing now for 4 matches, and he feels good about it. Spoken very highly about Amir Garces, so yeah, I would expect this one to continue. I was kind of surprised that that Brugman was given the start. Cedillo's been the guy, and I mean, there wasn't really a reason to rest him other than maybe he was just like at that limit. Because there is no match for 2 weeks, but Gaston did get the start. Like I said, that one was the surprise for me. And then yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of starting lineup. In 17 games played, now at home, the Galaxy, or rather, Gabriel has scored 21 goals, or has 21 goal contributions, 11 goals, and 10 assists. He and Riqui Puig each have recorded at least 27 goal contributions this season. Only the second pair of teammates to do that and reach that mark since Robbie Kino, and Landon Donovan in 2014. Obviously, also for the Galaxy. So Riqui Puig's opening goal for Gabriel Peck's opening assist for Gabriel Peck's opening goal in the 31st minute, and then his second assist for Dejan Peck's goal makes Puig the seventh all-time assist leader for the Galaxy, passing Sebastian Lletget. Man, I hope Sebastian's doing well. Thought about him the other day. It also marks this match also marks Puig's 6th multi-assist game for the Galaxy this year, and then Dejan's goal to put the Galaxy ahead 2-1 ties Giassi Zardes, who we saw a little bit of, and got a nice ovation. 9th for all time for the Galaxy, and he equals Chicharito's 10th place all time on the goal scorers chart with 39. And
the future of the LA Galaxy, Rob. Future of the LA Galaxy. And a really quick shout out to Alex Ruiz. He put out a great article going in depth about Dejan and some of the things that he's been doing tactically this year. So yeah, just a quick plug for that. That's a really, really good article, guys. Very similar vein to what we do in the Los Galácticos. But man, big year for Dejan. What do we say, Rob? 15 goals this year would be a heck of a season. Look where he is, man. Amazing.
I really want you to like go fish out receipts from like our predictions from the beginning of the year and see.
I was thinking about that the other day. Yeah, I was thinking
if we were at all close. But yeah, to wrap this one up, John McCarthy, he passes Matt Reese for 9th all time on the goalkeepers list for victories with 18. In 60 matches now played at the Digs, the Galaxy have an unbeaten record, 13-0-3. They become the 10th team in the post-shootout era to record at least 13 home wins during a single MLS regular season. And they've been goal machines, man. Behind the Killer Peas and Dejan's production, they scored 65 goals, ranked tied for 2nd in MLS, only behind Inter Miami. They've now won 11 consecutive league matches played at home, dating back to May 25th, where they've now scored their opponents 31-14 in that span. So they've just been racking up the goals, Ananda. And a win against Houston to end the season would equal their best points haul in the post-shootout era with 67 points. So the other day when I told you I was wrong on that stat, I was kind of wrong, but kind of right, because they did get 68 points in 98, but this would be their best points haul in the post-shootout era with 67. So, Ananda, what are the stats that brought Los Angeles this victory?
Yeah, looking at the box score at the end. So again, shout out to the Galaxy media team for providing us with this. But yeah, I thought this is really interesting, man. I highlighted just a few key ones that jumped out to me. I always tell you and chat. I always listen to Joe Tutino on the way out, right from the parking lot, just kind of trying to get out of the digs, just as my sort of post game ritual. I always like to hear his thoughts and how he saw the game. And one of the things that he called out was the fact that possession-wise and even passing-wise, man, this was a much closer game. It was a very, very hotly contested, tight game. You look at it in the possession stats, only 51%, 51.5% possession for the Galaxy versus 48.5%. I think that's a testament to Austin and some of the pressure they put in certain stages of that game, especially towards the end, man. We were sort of hanging on for dear life, right? Of course, before the red card and all that, which we'll get into. And even passing, usually we are double the number of connected passes as the opposing team. But in this case, Robert, only 441 connected passes to Austin's 394. So again, I thought that was interesting. We didn't control the game. Yeah, we didn't control the game as we usually do. But again, I think I'm going to give more credit to Austin and sort of their the way they were approaching this game, and this is a do or die situation for them, right? What's that?
They played like they were desperate because they were.
Yeah, exactly. That desperate situation. And I kind of made a little I did not get my prediction right in terms of how Austin I thought would come out. I thought they would be in a low block, but man, they were super aggressive, and it shows in some of these stats. And of course, speaking of aggressiveness, and this is the one thing, this is going to kind of lead into our first talking point, but this was a physical playoff type of game. Look at those fouls and cards there on the bottom of the screen, guys. 30 total fouls between both sides, 13 for the Galaxy, 17 for Austin, 10 yellow cards between both sides, and of course, the one red card on the end. And that just shows you just how much of a playoff. I mean, Greg said it, Maya said it, John Nelson said it post-match. This is a dress rehearsal for the playoffs. And you know what? Having a sleep on it and thinking about it today, I've seen the positives. Like I've thought about this is what this team needs. Like I'm glad we had this type of game. Granted, JP did come off with an injury, so there was a casualty on that regard. But other than that, coming through with the W, coming through relatively unscathed, man, this is a really good dress rehearsal for the playoffs. And I'm glad we had this game. And I think Greg even saw the merits of that post-match with some of his comments to you guys in the press corps.
No, he absolutely did. And like you said, they all echoed it. They all said it. They all said it felt like a playoff game. John Nelson, who's been on various playoff teams in MLS, he definitely said that this was the type of physicality and atmosphere that you see in the playoffs. They absolutely needed it. They absolutely needed to kind of taste it and see what it was like. Imagine if they had just gone into round one and it was like that. I mean, who knows if they would have responded the way they did. But they absolutely needed to see this kind of game. But we've talked a lot about the physicality to be had, the desperation that Austin was having. But there's a line. And I believe it was crossed. I did bring up Ted Uncle and the officiating crew and the fact that they did not stamp their authority on this match early. And it started very, very early. It wasn't like it got progressively worse. Austin came out very physical from the get-go. And what should have been fouls or at least warnings were usually just not even looked at by Ted Uncle. So if I have to, we usually give out a defending the badge here on this show. If there's an anti-defending the badge, Ted Uncle, you get it. You did not cover yourself in glory. But they at least they were consistently bad all game, right, Ananda?
They're awful. Yeah, and I think they should have escalated. Things just escalated from there, and unfortunately, it came into sort of two flashpoints, I think, that really just heated up this game. I think it's a lot of the talking points coming out of this game, but of course those challenges, right? The one with Delgado that if you talk to Austin fans, they're going to point back to that and say that was the start of sort of the escalation from there on. And then, of course, it all came to a head when a moment of madness in the 112th minute. By the way, 12 minutes of injury time, so the game should have ended even before that point.
That
right?
was I mean, where did they get 12 minutes from?
Exactly. We were olaying them for about 5 minutes, and then it came to that, right? So it's like, but yeah, it just came to a head. And, I put it on the screen there, guys. Again, a lot of the talking points, I think I would say on Twitter, on X, all the talking heads, etc., was, the challenges and if they were deserving of the red. Look, I'm not going to, we'll probably give our opinions here, but all I'm going to do is just kind of flash both challenges, and then I'm going to let you guys decide, right? You guys can go ahead and sign off and chat. We will react to you guys. Of course, I'm sure Robert and I have our own opinions, but here is the sort of, again, this is not a clip or a GIF by any chance. So it's just a still screenshot. There's a clip of the Mark Delgado challenge, and there is a pic of the the Biro challenge on Ricky. So, yeah. I'm just gonna leave it at that. To me, it's pretty clear which one is a red and which one was I would say a yellowish orange. I would say. So yeah, you have this grin on your face, Papa. You have this like, dog. What are you talking about?
No, I'm gonna get some hate, but I probably would have given them both reds. Obviously, the Biro challenge is way more violent. Marks wasn't even like fast. Like it was funny because like he goes into the tackle and it wasn't fast. It's just like if you look in the photo, he catches him rather high and he catches him in between the legs. So that's why I would, and it's not precisely from the side either. It's more from behind. So that's why I think, and again, I'm not smart enough to be a ref, obviously, but I probably would have.
Neither are they. Apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I probably would have given this one a red for the reasons stated, and then the Biro one is this. If you flash that one back up,
yep,
homie is Cobra Kai-ing into Ricky. This fool is off his feet. This fool is about to leap in to the portal on Mario Brothers, homie. Yeah. This fool is doing the long jump in the Paris Olympics. He's getting ready to fly through the air. I don't even know what is going through this man's mind right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna read some of the comments from chat. So GCam says Biro went in with the intent to maim. Delgado's was purely tactical. Primo Matt says I honestly thought Delgado would get a red. Honestly, looked rough from where I was. I'm gonna get back to that. Leo says no. The Ricky one was on purpose. Mark was at least trying to stop the play, which is what GCam said. Ricky was on the sideline waiting for the whistle to blow and unnecessary. Anthony Martinez says Delgado's yellow for sure. Tactically a good foul, but no malice. But Fu from Austin was going full on.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Panda. And Eli says Biro tackle was unsportsmanlike. I'm very similar to Primo Matt. From where I was sitting, Rob, I even told you the first words out of my mouth was, "Ooh, that might be a red, Rob. That might be a red, Papa." Just because of I guess it was not the force, but just how it happened, and it was from behind, and it was more so from a vantage point. Maybe I didn't think it was necessarily a yellow, but I've seen those. Or sorry, a red, but I've seen those given, right?
Yeah,
and that was the thing. I've seen those given, so and I don't know about MLS necessarily, but for sure I've seen those given in Champions League and European leagues. I've seen those given. So, and the way that the match was going, I was like, okay, is Uncle going to give this or not? It was a 50-50 thing. I agree with the points. I agree with the points made in chat. And here's the other thing that I will say about both of these. Marks he was trying to, okay, I don't know if he was, I'm sure he was trying to play on the ball, but of course he was very, very late. But he didn't jump in 2 foot. This guy is completely off the ground. And by the way, guys, if Ricky does not pull his leg away, smart play by Ricky, that's a leg break. He's doing one of those scissor moves where he's trying to clutch the foot, the bottom foot on his standing leg, and then the other was trying to do a sweeping action, whether it was sweeping his leg or quote unquote trying to make an attempt on the ball, which I don't think it is, to be honest. I think, again, and the other thing too that we got to think about is context, right? It's context. It's when it happened. It's how it happened. This is the dying embers of the game after the Galaxy just olayed you for 5 minutes straight, right? So we got to think about that, and I think it's just pure head loss, man, just pure head loss. And I mean, I might get strays for this one too, Papa, but I think partly Josh Wolf has got to control his players, man. I think Greg Vanney was more than right to go over there and be like, "What are you doing? Like, you've got to control your players." I mean, yes, that means it's the end of the season for you. Yes, that means it's, the end of the season for Josh as well and his end of his coaching career at Austin, but you've got to control your players. This is discipline. Pure head loss by Biro. Uncalled for.
Yeah, man. Not to make light of the situation, but can you bring that slide back up?
Yeah.
Someone needs to please Photoshop a motorcycle under Biro right there, because he looks like he's about to get on a motorcycle, bro, or on one, an invisible one. I mean, this again, he just goes into it full throated. Just I'm gonna take this full out, and he did. It could have been much worse, like you said.
Could have been much worse. Way worse. Yeah.
If Ricky doesn't pull his leg. But like you mentioned, it comes at the end of a passage of play where they get Olayed for a good long while. By this point, the match wasn't all the way decided. It was still 2-1, but the Galaxy were in control. And they were finally able to see this match out, give the fans the win, and the season undefeated at home, Ananda. 13 years in the making. Can you believe it? You were there to witness.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. Just the turnaround from last year, right? And look at this picture, man. This is shout out LA Galaxy photography and the media staff, but look at this picture, man. Packed to the rafters, right? Flags waving, everyone's happy. Man, what a sight to behold, and I cannot wait to see this rockin' house in the playoffs, because like I said last pod, the team's going to need it. But the Digs, if you guys don't think the LA Galaxy are back, I can officially say I will back this. I will endorse this. The Digs is officially back.
The Digs is officially back, and it's officially back when you got mini pupusas floating out there around there in the Galaxy sphere. Shout out to the Podfather who shared one of his mini pupusas with me in the press box. So yeah, thank you, Podfather. But yeah, man, the Digs is officially a fortress again. Galaxy do not lose all year at home. They set the record for most wins at home, most points at home, and most regular season average attendance since 1996 by Galaxy fans. 26,135 is the average, Ananda. This mark now is equivalent to some Serie A teams, some Ligue 1 teams, some La Liga teams, and a good amount of the championship teams as well. So we were talking about it at the top of the show. MLS has grown. 11 million people have watched this product this year. Well, the Galaxy have set their own mark, and they're rivaling some legacy clubs from some of the biggest leagues in the world. So the Digs is officially back, and Galaxy fans, you made it so. And we did mention it last pod. Last year he didn't do so great with this part, but this year Greg is saying all the right things in terms of that relationship with the fans. Ananda, I believe you wanted to play a clip of Greg speaking on that relationship
between, again, us, the energy in the stadium, because that's a big part of it, the fans, and you saw, I think, one of the biggest crowds maybe ever in this stadium, and an attendance record for the Galaxy since 1996. So again, that just shows you the amount of support this group had this year, and I think they wrote it, and it's a relationship, I think, in the stadium. When the fans bring energy and the players are doing and running and sprinting and competing and creating goal scoring chances, it feeds back into the energy in the stadium, and I think we got that right this year, and I think it helped us to get results here. And
yeah, totally, man. And that's the thing. Like that's the one thing that was I'm glad he said that, because that was my observation between this year and last year, Rob, is the number one thing that the energy sort of that Greg is talking about, it's created belief. We've talked about this talking point with Sophie, I think, in the show that we did with her. Last year, I didn't feel like the team believed in themselves nor believed in Greg. I didn't feel, and then of course that transmitted into the fans not believing in this team, right? Especially when everything was going on. I mean, obviously evidenced by the boycott. I think probably the only time the belief was felt is potentially just a little microdose of belief after the Rose Bowl, right? Just that little pump of adrenaline. But then of course we went back down to reality. But as I said, I think this year the belief is back, man. The players are believing in Greg. They're believing in one another. And that's transmitting, like I said, I've said this on the pod before, it's transmitting to people like me, to people like everyone in the chat. It's transmitting that belief to the fans that, hey, this is a damn good team. And maybe some of us think they're back. Maybe some of us think that they're almost back. Whatever that is, they are a damn good team, Rob. And the great thing is I see now there's certain moments of the game, and I don't know if you or chat notices this, but like when the players just need a little pick-me-up and maybe they get a corner, they win a corner, they win a tackle. You see JP, you see Decky, you see Ricky. Look at the crowd, look at the section and be like, come on, guys, like waving their arms up. I didn't see that last year, right? And so it's like, I think they're reacting to now the fans believing in them and them asking for, guys, we need a little more. We need a little more energy just to get us through games like the Austin test that we faced on Saturday night. And so that symbiotic relationship now between both the fans and the players, that's really special, man. That's when you know you have something special.
Yeah, and it translated to then them being able to get over the line in those 12 massive minutes where they were fortunately able to see it out, you know. Again, we talked about why 12 minutes, who knows why, but these fans really saw the team through, because if it hadn't been for them, I mean, you could see that this team was laboring a little bit. Crowd got behind them. They had their Ole moment, and then there was Biro's moment of madness, and then the crowd really got fired up, and it was you know, from then on it was you know, smooth sailing from there. But yeah, I like the fire. They got it for the feisty game. They matched the fire, and they brought out their own fire, and they were rewarded for it. And they get the win, and now they're undefeated at home.
But job's not done. Job's not done, Robert.
Yeah,
it's not coming from us. It's coming from them, right? It's coming from the players. I mean, you brought it up kind of in your question, but they agreed with you. They said job's not finished, right? And I gotta bring this up, man. So I did this for you, but hey, there it is. Job's not finished, Papa. Job finished? I don't think so.
It's not. E7G. We did talk about the record-breaking attendance. Yeah. I mean, Galaxy fans. We just kind of got done talking about it, but Galaxy fans and the team are enjoying a very nice relationship right now, and it's because they've been out in full force. But yeah, it was funny, Ananda, because we're sitting there with Greg, and you can hear like the celebrations, you know, them being very hype and very happy, as they should have been. And Greg's like, you know, job's not done. And then John Nelson comes out and he's like, you know, we're celebrating, but not too much. And they were just, you know, living it up, and it was great to see. They were very, very happy.
Oh, yeah, they should be. They should be. And I think they struck a balance between the both. I think they have a right to celebrate. That was a tough match, but I think they know in the back of their minds the next day when they wake up, they know the job's not done.
Yeah, and you know, Greg mentioned it, and I made sure to ask them, you know, what the mindset in the locker room is. You know, being that they are 1 point away, they're very, very close, and you know, they're all on the same tip. They're all singing from the same hymnal. This job isn't done. The job's not finished. There's still 1 point to get, and let's celebrate today so we can go back to work tomorrow. You know, Maya took it even one step further. You know, I mentioned the Podfather a moment ago. He had a really good question on where this Galaxy team is in the annals of the best Galaxy teams of all time, right? Mm-hmm. And considering the fact that they've set the home win record, they went undefeated at home, yada yada, all the other records that we've already told you guys about. And Maya said, that's all well and wonderful, but if at the end of the year there's not a title, then none of that means anything. And it's wonderful to hear, because that's something that Kobe Bryant himself would have said. And yep, the job's not done. But the job that night was done. The Galaxy get a 2-1 win over Austin to set themselves up for a decision day critical match against Houston. But in this match, Ananda, did you have a moment of the match?
Yeah, really quick. I want to answer this question. I just looked it up. E7G. He asked, from what I've seen, Houston haven't been beaten at home for a while. I just looked it up. Their last loss was August 25th against Toronto. It was a 1-0 loss, so that was a while ago. So yeah, of course we'll get all those facts and figures in the Houston preview coming up, guys. But Rob, you asked about the moment of the match. I'm going to tell you, man, my moment of the match as a fan, it was just Ole's. When's the last time you saw the Digs Olaying like that? I cannot remember. Definitely not last year. I can't remember. That was an amazing, amazing feeling.
There were some Olays against LAFC, weren't there?
Was there? Maybe I don't remember that part. I don't remember. But anyways, like that to me was like a sign of, and it was a pretty, still a pretty tight game, right? Only 1 goal margin. But just the fact that we had the verve, the swag to just do that in that moment, right? After all the physicality, and we were just toying with them. That signaled to me like, okay, this team has a level of supremacy. They're a cut above, and that was my moment of the match for sure as a fan.
Oh, breaking news. El Primo, Matthew, comment 96 says Ananda was smashed that night. Breaking news.
Oh man, was I can't remember. Anyways,
I don't know. I saw you. I didn't seem to think so. I've seen him way happier before, but anyway, for me,
yeah. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, for me, the moment of the match was Peck's first really mazy run in the first half, where he brought it down the right wing and cut in and basically took out like 4 Austin defenders. And if not for just basically a lucky Stuver foot save, he gets a goal, which probably would have been his best goal this year.
Such a good keeper.
But yeah, that was my moment of the match, because it was the moment Gabriel Pecky realized, like, oh, these cats can't live with me. And so from then on, he just started going at them, and that's what the first goal came from, him going at them again. And just blowing by a defender and getting a goal out of nothing.
He made Biro lose his head, man. He was skinning him all game on top of the Olays. Hey, head loss, right? Nothing else.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Gabriel Pecky and Ricky Puig are going to live in that man's memory for a long time. But the Galaxy's official moment of the match was staying undefeated at home, which of course is a momentous achievement for them. They wanted to make the Digs a fortress, and they made it happen.
Yes. This is a good shout. This is a good shout from Anthony Martinez. My favorite moment was the Chessmaster Pistoletto celebration with Ricky. I like that one. That was a good one too. Again, Rob talked about. I captured that video of their celebration. That's a good one. Good shout.
Oh yeah, no, it was definitely a good moment. And wifey, the Minister of Finance in the Jalan household, she was kind of capping on these souls afterwards, because she's like, practican más sus celebraciones que sus tiros al arco. She was still a little bit salty. She was still a little bit salty about JP missing a couple of chances. So she was,
so not for this pod, but in the upcoming pods, Rob, as we have a little break, I do want to talk about JP. I do have like a little theory. I was having a good conversation with Primo Matt about this pre-match. I think we can get him unwound, but well, first of all, we got to get him healthy, right? But I think he'll come around. But we've got to find ways to unlock him. Maybe we'll talk about that in future episodes. But don't worry, guys. I think, by the way, and people are saying he's struggling, blah blah. he still statistically has had a great season. What, 10 goals and what is it, 4 or 5 assists or something like that, right? Very solid season statistically.
Who, JP?
Yeah, JP. I think he's had 10 regular season goals and 7 regular season assists. I don't know about the including Leagues Cup, but that was I'm looking at the stat sheet right now from PR. I think that's regular season only though. That doesn't count Leagues Cup, etc.
Yeah, I believe he's in the 10-10 club.
Okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, these are regular season stats, right?
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, it wasn't the best night for him. He did go off injured. We're still waiting to hear back on what's happening with him. But there was a couple of Galaxy players that did have big nights. You have 4 candidates for defending the badge. We're going to go ahead and start you off with Maya Yoshida. The Galaxy captain had a monster game in defense, 96% pass accuracy, 3 blocks, 9 clearances, 2 interceptions, 5 recoveries, and 3 duels won. Dejan Joveljic, he had a goal, 3 total shots, 3 recoveries, and 2 duels won. Gabriel, he had a goal, 2 chances created, a block, and interception, 2 recoveries, and 2 duels won. And the prince who was promised, Ricky Puig, 2 assists, 3 chances created, 1 interception, 7 recoveries, 16 duels won, fouled a massive 9 times, and made the MLS Team of the Match Day. Ananda, do you have a winner for this week?
It's Ricky Rocket, aka Ricky Razzle Dazzle, aka Little Jimmy Neutron, aka the Prince who was promised. I mean, so many superlatives and adjectives for this guy, Rob. But he won it last week. You know my rule about you got to snatch it off of him, and
got to take it off him.
By the way, Gabriel Peck tried to snatch it off of him with, again, those mazy runs that you've been talking about. He almost should have had probably 2 or 3 goals on the evening with the way he was playing. But no, man, Ricky just, again, I talked about this a few pods ago, which is I wanted to, you asked us the question if you had 10 seconds or whatever with the Galaxy player, right? And I said something to the effect of, I want to make sure Ricky's head, his mentality's in the right place. You know, we've talked about some of his downfalls emotionally at times, right? Maybe his head is, he's a very emotional, fiery character, and sometimes that gets the best of him. But what I've seen these past couple of games is a little bit of a maturity. I don't know if you've seen this or chat, if you guys have picked this up, but for example, that nasty tackle at the end, that could have escalated into something really bad. But surprisingly, I mean, he probably was mouthing off some things. I didn't see it off camera or when I was in the stadium, but he reacted fairly coolly to it for the most part, right? You're looking at me and you're shaking your head. At least from that moment, I don't know about the center, the center. What was it? The 60th minute confrontation.
This is also the man that got a yellow card for dissent from Ted Uncle. Earlier in the same game.
Fair enough, but
he's only gotten 2 yellow cards that are not dissent related. I don't know. You're gonna have to work a little harder to convince me on this one.
Well, look, here's the thing. At least in that moment at the end, he could have gotten a second yellow. If he easily could have gotten a second yellow, right? And would have been sent off.
My man was on the ground. I don't think he could have.
Well, yes. I mean, yes, but. I mean, again, he could have reacted. I mean, dude, I don't care if I was on the ground or my leg was broken. The guy literally tried to take me out. I would have reacted in some manner. I know my teammates would have had my back, etc. But that aside for a second, I think also the decision-making on the pitch, I think there's been a level of maturity there. He's not as playing as much hero ball as he was maybe earlier on the season. He's starting to pick and choose his spots. And I think that is a level of maturity that I've seen more sort of his decision-making, now he's trying to get his teammates on track. He's looking for Gabriel Peck early. He's looking for Joveljic, right? He's looking for his teammates, man. And I'm slowly seeing, I mean, I got to break this down into a tactical breakdown. And now you're making me do a Los Gatácticos. But I'm telling you what my eye test is seeing is that he's shown, I think he's shown the past few games that he's ready mentally and he's made some mature steps, I think.
All right, well, you're going with Ricky Puig. I mean, obviously, I'm going number 1 with Raquinho. But, since I can't pick him every week, I'm honestly going to give it to John Nelson, man.
Wow.
John Nelson's John's been just... what have I said a million times? Like, it's the best when we don't have to talk about you as a defender. That means you haven't messed up. And then not only that, but just the attitude and the mentality that he showed and coming out and talking to us post match and letting us know where the team's head was at, and him articulating so well, the fact that they're not going to be complacent, that Greg has kind of drilled into them that this job isn't finished, and I loved the fight, the spirit that I saw in him. So for me, it's John Nelson. Of course, these are things that not everyone got to see, unless you guys are checking out the full post-match press conferences that we're posting up. But yeah, no, John Nelson, I mean, he gets it right now, and I know that he gets it because we got to speak to him. So for me, John Nelson. But of course, it's what the people
both
want. Wrong. What?
I said we're both wrong, because it's always the chat. Well, maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm right. In the people's vote.
Nah, you are right. I mean, unless something changed, but last time I checked.
No, I'm just pulling your leg up. Of course, it's the prince who was promised, Riqui Puig, with 98 million votes. Yeah, he won defending the badges. Again, by the way, I heard something on Corner of the Galaxy that you guys did you get a vote on sort of who your end of season awards are for the Galaxy? Heard some of the press corps got votes.
There will be end of the year Galaxy Awards.
Got it. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. Yeah. So I was just hearing a really interesting, I caught like sort of a few minutes of it. Josh and Kevin were talking about their votes for MVP this year. And I think there's a very interesting argument between Riqui Puig and Gabriel Peck. So very interesting. Interested to see who you will vote for at the end of the year, but we'll leave that till later.
Man, you know who I want to vote for.
Raquinho, right?
Yeah, all day. All day, Raquinho. All right. Well, the Galaxy do come out winners in this one. Riqui Puig has 2 assists. He runs away with defending the badge for the second week in a row. And that leaves the Galaxy with a 19-7-7 record after 33 matches played. They've now conceded 19 less goals than last year. So that's a huge improvement. I wonder what that translates to in like real points, right, Ananda? So they're on 64 points at the moment, or averaging 1.94 points per game. Still first place in the Western Conference standings, 6 points ahead of number 2 LAFC with 1 game in hand, and 8 points ahead of number 3 Seattle and number 4 RSL. I saw a meme earlier that said death, taxes, and Gabriel Peck scoring on you. It should be death, taxes, Gabriel Peck scoring on you, and Seattle making a late season run, right? How they got into third, who knows, right? But they're there, number 3 Seattle and number 4 RSL. So that's what we have in the standings, guys. And then coming up, it's sad times because the Galaxy have 12 days off, but it is a chance for JP, Marco Reus, and Julian Aure to get ready for the playoffs. The final game of the season will be against Houston on Decision Day, Saturday, October 19th at 6 p.m. The last match between these two teams is a Galaxy home win, 2-1 on May 25th. This one is a little bit worrying because it has not gone well traditionally for the Galaxy in Houston on Decision Day. Hopefully they are able to take care of business. They just need 1 point. They just need a result against Houston to lock this up, or an LAFC loss or tie. Of course, we'll bring you that Houston preview pod on Thursday, October 17th. But our next show on Thursday, October 10th, like we mentioned at the top of the show, will be with Jose Tellez, founder of Goals TV, one of our new homes, so you can catch our pod. Goals TV will be just one more place you can find us, like we said at the top of the show. We'll also be debuting a special playoff edition of the Cuna Galaxiana intro music with our friend and friend of the show, Arquitecto Verbal. He'll be here to help us debut that and we'll get his thoughts on the season thus far.
Come
I think
check us out. Come check us out from the top, guys. It'll be a fun new intro for La Cuna Galaxiana playoffs edition because we in the playoffs, baby, and we were
playoffs
chasing that number one seed.
edition. And Ananda was already shaking his tail feather to it.
It's a fire. It's a fire track, man. It's fire. It's fire.
You can very much shake your caboose to this one. It is a fun one.
It's a fire track,
yeah, man,
for sure.
Yeah, man. I think that's all we have. Anything else to add before we get on out of here?
Interesting question. Los Blanco and Yellow asks us, fun question for you guys. Who do you think will go to Europe from our squad? Honestly, I think Peck, Puig, Garces. I agree. Yeah, I think those are the ones right there. Those are the ones with the biggest ceiling talent-wise, and that's what always European teams are looking for. But let's enjoy them while we have them, folks.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too far off. I think there's a couple other players that could make the jump to Europe. I mean, Julian Aude was invited to play for Italy. Not a far-fetched a thing to see him play for maybe one of the mid-table sides in Serie A. Jalen Neal has already been scouted by a couple of European teams. So, yeah, could be seeing a couple of these players rotate out. But hopefully we get to see that LA Galaxy backline of the future one day. It would be lovely to see it go down. But that's what we have for you guys today on La Cuna Galaxiana. We want to thank you again for hanging out with us and reacting to the Galaxy's last home game of the season, a 2-1 win over Austin. That leaves it just 1 point away from locking up the Western Conference crown. 1 game left of the season. Job's not done. Houston Dynamo on October 19th. Man, it is going to be dicey. I know that I'm going to be nervous. I know that you're going to be nervous, Ananda. But yes, exactly. Job's not finished. Galaxy just need to go out there and do what they do best and get these 3 points, or at least 1 point, really. We want to thank you guys for being with us once more. You guys can find us at youtube.com/at Cuna Galaxiana, and pretty much on everything at Cuna Galaxiana, Twitter, X, or whatever you're calling it, Instagram, MySpace, Carrier Pigeon, Raven from Game of Thrones, whatever, it's at Cuna Galaxiana. That's where you can find us. We thank you so much for hanging out with us, for being here, and 1 game left of the season. It's been a wild one. We can't wait to bring it down with you for the last episode of the regular season. Of course, we'll be with you for the playoffs, so keep it locked here. If you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and do so. We would love you forever. And only one thing left to say, Ananda, right?
Get it.
By the grace of Raquinho, Jesus.
You